The author and composer of We Wish You a Merry Christmas is unknown. The end. If only. The carol likely dates back to the 16th century, so that may account for it, but everyone seems quite clear it is an English folk song from perhaps the West Country. The West Country usually refers to the historic counties of Cornwall, Devon, Dorset and Somerset. It can also include Bristol, Gloucester and Wiltshire, but that's entirely up to you. The song reflects the English tradition of the time, that the wealthy of the town or village gave treats to the poorer carolers on Christmas Eve. Later, in the 18th and 19th centuries, the carol was known to be included in the Mummers' Plays, a traditional English folk play which was often associated with Christmas. An account of a group of mummers doing their thing is described in The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy. The words of the song clearly recognises the dynamics between the rich and the poor, where the poor carolers demand their figgy pudding. It is only right. The repeated and ardent chant to receive some pudding is most cheeky and a playful taunt, but meant all the same. No truer sentiment is said in song. I always say, a nice bit of joshing always lightens the intent. However, no one is leaving until the treat is provided. Who apart from Scrooge could be so mean on Christmas Eve? Over the years, the fashion for figgy pudding mentioned in this carol has waned. What it actually consisted of was figs, you think naturally, and these were added to a mixture of butter, sugar, milk, rum, apple, lemon and orange peel, nuts, cinnamons, cloves and ginger. Sounds like Christmas pudding to me. Research leads me to find that in truth figgy pudding, especially in the West Country, referred to raisin or plum pudding, and not necessarily one that contained figs. Right-ho, well that's clear enough. So, it's Xmas Pud. In the 16th century, the addition at the end of the verse with a Happy New Year might have been an incredibly odd thing to say, or even sing, as the start of the new year in them days was Lady Day on the 25th of March. It was not until 1752 that the 1st of January was observed in England as the start of the new year. We could possibly conclude that, and a Happy New Year, is a later add-on. England didn't move to the Gregorian calendar until 1752 due to their Protestant persuasion. As Pope Gregory, instigator of the new calendar in 1582, was a well-known Catholic. At the time, many Protestant countries objected to the Catholic innovation. It could have been a plot, you know. Let's face it, Catholics are dead good at plots. However, there is written evidence that in the early 18th century, folks were adding, and a Happy New Year, to a Merry Christmas greeting, just anyway, as they weren't yet using the Gregorian calendar. In 1830, the inclusion of Happy New Year in the verse makes sense as the Gregorian calendar was well underway in England. It is all very confusing, I'll be bound, and looks like some English just celebrated the New Year on the 1st of January anyway, whatever calendar they were using. However, no confusion about who is responsible for the popularity of the festive song, and that was Bristol-based composer, conductor and organist Arthur Worrell. He arranged the tune for his own University of Bristol madrigal singers, performing it in 1935. That same year his arrangement was published in the Oxford University Press entitled A Merry Christmas, thus ensuring the carol's survival and his version forever. Publishing will usually do it. Since then, this jolly carol has been recorded by many a famous recording artist and orchestras, etc. Ooh, how about the marvellous collaborative album that John Denver made with the Muppets? And who'd forget that? There is another well-known version by the Japanese punk female band Shonen Knife and the indie pop band Weezer. But really, the most commonly and most often performed version is by the very happy Christmas revelers, as it should be. Not necessarily nowadays singing for their supper, but collecting alms or donations for deserving charities. And everything. After all, the words are not that hard to learn, n'est-ce pas? This song is a survivor. It has been around for 400 years, and it is still being sung with just as much gusto as ever it was in the days of yore. Pudding, anyone?
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring